Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the, what's today's date? 13th of June, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on NXT TakeOver in your house. As far as tonight's NXT TakeOver does go, I'm going to say it right now. I didn't think this was their best showing. I really did not think that this was a top tier takeover. If I had to say, I think this may have been one of the worst takeovers we've ever seen. I'm going to look something up really fast. Takeover. I think I'm remembering which one was the worst. I'm just looking. Yeah, so to me, the worst takeover may have been NXT TakeOver Unstoppable. That's when we had FTR, well, back when they were still the Mechanics. They weren't even the Revival yet. They were the Mechanics against the Vaudevillains. Balor beat Tyler Breeze to become number one contender for the NXT title. Baron Corbin beat Rhino. Blake and Murphy beat Enzo and Cass. That's when he was still calling Cassidy. Sasha beat Bayley in a women's title match. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ended in that no contest where Sami Zayn was beat down so bad that he couldn't finish, and they just gave the title to Owens. I feel like that was the worst takeover, and this may be the second worst. So, I don't know. And then here's the other thing. This is supposed to be the biggest, and I don't know why I put that in quotes because it is the biggest crowd they've had in the PC since doing takeovers from the PC, or not takeovers, but NXT from the PC. And this crowd just felt like they were not into a lot of this stuff. They weren't. This crowd just did not feel like they were into a lot of this stuff. But we'll get more into that. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of the show, you can text into 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. If you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out one of two different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember to support us here. You can subscribe to the channel right here on Twitch, either with a tiered subscription or for free with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, whether that's Amazon Prime for shopping, for Amazon Prime for the video service, well, you also get Prime Gaming. With Prime Gaming, you get a lot of cool stuff, but you also get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to support throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you supported us here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways. If you're watching live in the chat right now, you can help us out with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel as a channel member. Excuse me. I just took a drink of this Mountain Dew Rise, and I feel like I got a burp, and like it gets right up, and then it doesn't. So, I don't know. But regardless, you can also help us out by subscribing to the channel on YouTube as a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to non-news videos, early access to exclusive news, early access to podcast episodes, a badge next to your name, emojis you can use in the live chat, and so much more. Also, the most direct way to support us is to head over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Sam Piboon, I see your super chat. I will read that once we get to the end, since that, well, actually, you know what? I'll read it now, and then I'll double back to it. So Sam here says, who do you want to have new GM of NXT? That we're going to talk about at the end. But he also says, I give NXT TakeOver in your house D- because I didn't enjoy NXT TakeOver tonight. I don't know if I would go D-. For giving it a letter grade, I would say C, 70%, 7 out of 10. Actually, if you go 7 out of 10, that would probably be a little 6.5 out of 10. 7, 6.5, 7 out of 10. No, I will double back to your question, because what we saw at the very, very end of NXT TakeOver, I have a theory, two theories maybe, on what that could be, and I don't know what. Like I said, I have theories. But with that, guys, let's get the poll going really quick. Thank you, Jack Dawson, for the super sticker donation. Really do appreciate that, my guy. Throw the new poll up really fast while we let a few more of you jump in. I see more people, especially on the YouTube side of things, jumping into the live chat. So we'll wait just another minute while we get the polls going for you guys to jump in. Put the poll up. What did you think of tonight's NXT TakeOver? I liked it. It was all right. Ooh. Didn't like it. All right, the poll is live on Twitch. Throw the same poll up on YouTube. Excuse me. Liked it. Oh, crap. Give me 1 second. I got to fix the poll. The poll is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. End poll, end poll, end poll. Okay. Now is it going to let me make a new poll? Uh-oh, it might not let me make a new poll. We need the YouTube poll, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cosmic in the live chat says NXT TakeOver is definitely better than a D-. I would say C+. Women's Championship and main event were great. Liked it. Was all right. Didn't like it. There we go. Now we got the proper poll up. But with that, guys, I didn't see if anything took place on the pre-show. I did not see that. If you did see my Twitter or the post I made on the YouTube communities page, I had issues with the internet since last night. And I finally got someone from Comcast to come out today. I had to watch the show on Wi-Fi on my phone. So I watched the whole main show, but I didn't see anything on the pre-show because I was just trying to get my internet to work, get Comcast to come out. And like my internet was so slow that when I did the NXT TakeOver preview this morning, I had to send it to my phone just to upload it because it would have took me way too long to upload from my computer. My internet was running that slow. But his live stream right now seems to be good. So whatever the guy did when he came out from Comcast, seems like he fixed it. Also, speaking of fixed it, show opened up the comedy segment that I thought was really good and didn't need fixing. Todd Pettengill trying to cut to a video using a VHS player or VHS tape. The video recapped Mercedes Martinez defeating Xia Li in the Mae Young Classic 4 years ago, I believe it was. 4 years ago. And then we got Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li. This match went just under 8 minutes, 7.5, 8 minutes, and I felt it was long. This match did not need to go this long, and this match was not that good and had a bad post-match deal. So, yeah, this match, honestly, did not need to be on this show. This match could have just took place on NXT, and you could have put something else here, like a cruiserweight title match, or the tornado tag we're getting next week with the Grizzly Young Vets versus Ciampa and Thatcher. That would have been way better in this spot. Give it 10 minutes, bada bing, bada boom, there you go. But with that, Lee took the fight to Martinez right away, but Martinez took her down with a backdrop and a follow-away slam. Lee dragged Martinez to the floor and pushed her shoulder first into the post. She continued to target Martinez's shoulder, including with a running drop kick that sent Martinez to the floor. They traded strikes in the ring, with Lee maintaining control with kicks and knees. Martinez came back with the butterfly suplex, but Lee regained control with an exploder. Martinez avoided a corner attack and had a cliffhanger for a 2. At one point, Boa pulled Lee out of the ring, preventing her from any further attacks. Martinez pushed him aside and countered a running attack with a back body drop on the floor. Back in the ring, a cyclone kick from Lee surprised Mercedes Martinez, with Xia Li picking up the victory. Yeah, Xia Li picked up the victory, but here's the thing. There's a rumor going on that Mercedes Martinez could be coming up to the main roster and paired with Eva Marie. So if she's getting paired with Eva Marie on the main roster, her losing makes sense. If she doesn't show up with Eva tomorrow or next week, so Eva's going to be on Raw next week or tomorrow. If she doesn't show up with Eva, Mercedes losing here was not the right call. But if Mercedes moving up, if she's moving up, then that's perfectly fine. That's the call to make if she's moving up. But again, this match just it wasn't takeover quality at all, and it did not need to happen. After the match, though, Boa threw Lee a chair, but when she was about to use it, Martinez kicked her legs out from under her. Martinez then grabbed the chair and hit both Boa and Xia Li with it. Lee's entrance effects showed up, and Mei Ying appeared in her throne on the ramp. She and Martinez stared at each other until Ying grabbed Martinez by the neck and tossed her off the ramp into the barricade. Again, this is not good at all. Next up, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher cut a promo. They said that in 48 hours, they show everyone how dangerous they really are. Next up, we have the ladder match. Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight for the $1 million title. And I liked what they did with the title. The $1 million title is not really put together like a regular belt. And I felt, well, that's going to be kind of hard to hang up there. What they did was they basically put the $1 million belt in a clear briefcase type deal. And hung that above the ring, which I really liked. You are right, Dragon Leon. I did skip a match by accident. I forgot the winner take all 6-man tag. I apologize for that. Again, I'm trying to get this computer internet stuff fixed all day, so I'm kind of frazzled with all that, hoping that the stream works. And I just scrolled too far in my notes. But with that, the show did kick off. I apologize for missing that one. The show did kick off with the double title match, the winner take all 6-man tag, North American title on the line, NXT Tag Team Championships on the line, Bronson Reed and MSK against Legado del Fantasma. Lee and Mendoza started the match off with a rapid fire exchange. Carter and Wilde were up next, with Wilde hitting a nice springboard arm drag. He showboated, however, and received a kick for his troubles. Escobar tagged in and faced off with Carter, but Carter tagged in Reed. Escobar retreated and tagged in Mendoza. Mendoza used some high flying, but Reed shrugged off a series of clotheslines before leveling Mendoza with one of his own. Reed then hit a sit-down splash, but Escobar had blind tagged in and then hit a soccer kick. Reed took him down with a crossbody before planting Wilde with a press slam. MSK hit frequent tags here with some somersault sentons from Wes Lee, getting a 2 off of those. Reed then hit an assisted senton for 2 more. The champs continued to dominate Wilde until Escobar finally made the tag. Carter hit it. Excuse me. Carter hit a Orihara moonsault onto the floor, but Wilde took Carter out with a dive. Lee and Mendoza hit dives of their own, building to the big man Reed taking out everybody with a tope. Back in the ring, MSK tried to hit a double team move, but Legado del Fantasma pulled Carter out of the ring. Yeah, man, this drink is just giving me all kinds of like burps and whatnot. Anyways, where was I? Pulled Carter out of the ring. A top rope Hurricane Rana from Escobar got a 2, as did an assisted 450 by Joaquin Wilde. Lee finally escaped to tag in Reed. At one point, Escobar grabbed the belt at ringside, but was blindsided with a running splash from Reed, sending him through the barricade at ringside. Mendoza tried to hit a dive and was cut off with a super kick. MSK then hit an assisted blockbuster. Reed pulled the straps down and hit the tsunami splash to pick up the victory and retain the titles for his team. So the champions do retain here. Going forward before the ladder match, Ted DiBiase discussed his history and legacy of the $1 Million Championship. He made an entrance and watched the match from ringside. The match starts off with a strong lockup, and Knight took down Grimes with a shoulder block. Grimes then popped up and taunted before out-wrestling Knight for a couple of sequences. Knight rolled to the floor and tossed in a ladder before sending Grimes to the floor himself. He tried to throw the ladder at Grimes, but Grimes avoided it before falling victim to a clothesline. Also, the tag match, for anyone that wants to know, went 13 and a half minutes. This ladder match, almost 20. So Grimes gets taken down with the clothesline. Knight set up a ladder in the ring, and both men climbed it. But Knight sent Grimes to the floor. They fought over the ladder before Knight grabbed another ladder at ringside. They had a ladder fight until Grimes booted Knight to the floor. They fought over a ladder yet again, with Grimes getting the advantage by pushing Knight and the ladder into the barricade. He followed it up with a soccer kick. Grimes opted to take the fight to Knight on the floor, but Knight sent Grimes into the barricade and smashed him with a ladder. Knight continued to send Grimes into the ringside objects until Grimes turned it on Knight. Knight popped up and took Grimes down yet again. At this point, things started to get very repetitive. They started to do like the same stuff. Grimes would throw Knight into something. Then Knight would pop up and throw Grimes into something. And then, over and over again. Same stuff. Finally get back in the ring, and Knight hit a slingshot shoulder block. Grimes countered with a German suplex into the ladder. He tried to follow this up with a ladder attack, but Knight moved out of the way and hit a neck breaker onto a pop-up ladder. This looked like it hurt. At one point, Knight was sent over the top rope onto a ladder bridge. Grimes went after the gold ladder on the stage and brought it into the ring. He climbed it and made it to the belt, but Knight met him at the top. Knight fell off, but was able to push the ladder over, sending Grimes crashing to the mat. After a long double down, Knight set up the ladder to create a bridge over the ropes. Grimes surprised with a thrust kick, but Knight hid behind DiBiase's security, allowing him to take Grimes out. Knight then whipped Grimes into a ladder. Grimes climbed it and then grabbed onto some staging when Knight pushed the ladder away. Grimes then leapt off the stage with a crossbody. Grimes then climbed the gold ladder in the ring. 1 second, I gotta sneeze. Maybe not. When you feel that tickle right there in your nose, and you feel like you're gonna sneeze, but you can't sneeze, that's how I feel right now. Anyways, Grimes climbed the ladder. Knight tried to powerbomb him out of the ring, but Grimes turned into a Hurricane Rana. Grimes shouted, "To the moon!" and nearly reached the championship, but Knight pushed the ladder over, sending Grimes onto a bridge, the one he made below, over the ropes. Knight and climbed up, unhooked the briefcase with the championship in it, and LA Knight is the $1 million champion. LA Knight celebrated with $1 million man afterwards. I don't know still where this is going. Is this just a prop for LA Knight to have, kind of like the FTW title in AEW? Or will LA Knight be defending this title like any other title? North American Cruiserweight Tag Team, so forth. That is something, and if they said it on tonight's show, I must have missed it, but that is something we still do not know. I hope they let us know here soon what the intention of having the $1 million championship really is. Because, again, I don't know. Todd Bettengill tried to advertise WWE Shop at one point, but was interrupted by Hit Row. They plugged their new song, Know You Know. Well, now you know, Now you know. Next up, we move on to the women's title match. Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. Match was pretty good. Nice showcase for Ember Moon for sure. And I think this showed that Ember Moon can hang. We knew Ember Moon can hang, but she can hang at the top. The Moon came out firing with strikes early on, but Gonzalez planted her with a crossbody attempt. Moon countered the one-armed powerbomb with a Hurricane Rana, sending Gonzalez into the turnbuckle, but Gonzalez sent Moon into the barricade on a shoulder block. Out of the ring, Gonzalez continued to dominate. Back in the ring, Gonzalez maintained control until Moon kicked her way out of a corner attack. He went for a diving code breaker, but Gonzalez caught it and planted Moon with a sidewalk slam. A twisting Vader bomb followed for a 2. Moon tried to fight back with some strikes for a thrust kick, caught Gonzalez under the jaw. Another series of kicks staggered Gonzalez before a forearm finally took the champion down. Moon hit a code red for her too. She locked on a modified deathlock till Kai assisted Gonzalez by helping her reach the ropes. Gonzalez and Kai regrouped on the floor as Moon took the champion out with a tope suicida. Back in the ring, she had a flatliner, and Moon got a 2 off of it. Kai then distracted Moon while the latter climbed the ropes, allowing Gonzalez to take control with a superplex. Gonzalez went for her own one-armed powerbomb, but Moon cradled her for a 2. Gonzalez came back with a big boot for a near fall of her own. She went for an inverted suplex, but Moon turned it into a modified eclipse. This was a really cool spot. Moon gained some separation from the champ with a jawbreaker and followed it up with a diving code breaker. The eclipse would follow, but Kai put Gonzalez's foot on the ropes. And then we saw Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi did say this past week that she was hurt. She was injured. That's why we hadn't seen her in a couple of weeks on NXT. But Shotzi came out here, and she didn't really do much. It was more her just beating up Dakota. So I can see her still being hurt, but being able to do this, which means she's maybe not that hurt, where they would have been worried that she could have got more hurt. Because she really didn't do much in this beatdown. But basically, she chased and beat down Dakota all around the ring, up the ramp, in front of the stage, and so forth. Blackheart, like I said, sent Dakota into the staging before bringing her backstage. Very limited use of Blackheart here, which makes sense if she is injured, like she said on social media. Gonzalez fled to the apron, where Moon climbed to the top. He hit a tornado DDT on the ramp. Moon rolled Gonzalez into the ring, where Gonzalez kicked out at 2. She went for another eclipse, but Gonzalez caught her with a snake eyes in the corner. Then hit the one-arm powerbomb and pinned Ember Moon to pick up the victory. So with that, Ember Moon does not get that title, and Raquel Gonzalez does retain. Going forward, we got another Pettengill comedy segment. He was about to play Karate Fighters, and his opponent was Dexter Lumis. Pettengill asked how the women were treating Lumis these days. Lumis broke the game and smashed Pettengill's piece in his head. We then got the news that on Tuesday, July 6th, we're getting a special edition of NXT. It's NXT Great American Bash. Actually, I want to look at something. I need to find the graphic for this, because I wrote it as Great American Bash, but hold on one second. Okay, never mind. I thought they had put like a little thing on it, but it was just 2021. Great American Bash 2021. I thought it said something else. Graphic says just 2021. That will be taking place Tuesday, July 6th. I thought maybe that SummerSlam takeover, the one that's reportedly supposed to take place the night after SummerSlam, would be Great American Bash. It's not. So I don't know what they call the August takeover. But this makes sense. Great American Bash, 2 days after the 4th of July. It makes total sense. We also got some stuff for next Tuesday's show, which we already knew about. Ciampa and Thatcher against the Grizzled Young Vets in our Trendo tag team match. Plus Kushida will continue his championship open challenge. And then we went to our main event. It was a 5-way for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, and Pete Dunne. Johnny Gargano basically channeled his inner Shawn Michaels here with Shawn Michaels inspired gear and a Shawn Michaels inspired entrance in the ring. He did the whole Shawn Michaels dancing around kind of entrance deal in the ring. I mean, we all know Johnny Gargano's favorite wrestler as a kid was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. We also saw Pete Dunne wearing all white, which was stark difference from what we're used to, and wearing all black. I don't think I've ever seen Pete Dunne wear all white. But this match, to be honest, there was some good action. Great action, actually, at times. But it seemed more like get our spots in, let everybody rest for a moment while 2 guys still go, get another spot in. People are down resting, get another spot in. It seemed like the spots just overtook the action too much, like the planned out spots. Like, I'll explain it more once I talk about the spots and stuff. But I just felt this match may have been a little too scripted out spot for spot. And it went 26 and a half minutes. So the crowd wasn't really super invested in this match at the start like they weren't for most of this show. And this crowd didn't like Karrion Kross at all. And not in a, well, he's the heel, they shouldn't like him kind of way. No, it's just they were not into him jaggedly. So early on, O'Reilly and Cole, of course, are going at it on the floor. Kross and Dunn faced off in the ring. Dunn peppered him with some leg kicks and went for a guillotine, but Kross caught him with a Northern Light suplex. O'Reilly entered the fray and traded with Kross until he got a high kick. No. He hit a high kick on Kross. O'Reilly then countered and hit a heel hook while Kross fought out, hitting a German suplex. Gargano was the next in on Kross. He went for the Gargano escape for chopping down Kross's legs and taking him down with a Hurricane Rana. Kross caught a corner attack and hit an exploder suplex. Cole immediately took advantage by kicking out Kross's knee and hitting an enziguri. Dunn pulled Cole out of the ring and trapped him between the apron and the ring skirt. Excuse me. This led to the entire field beating him down. Kross continued to dispatch all four opponents, though. He hit a double Northern Light suplex on Dunn and Gargano before a lariat on O'Reilly for a 2. O'Reilly fought out of a powerbomb and landed a Muay Thai strike, a couple Muay Thai strikes actually, and finally took down Kross. He laid in some knees on Cole before mounting him and going for an armbar. Dunn locked an armbar on O'Reilly before Gargano tried to get involved. Dunn then attacked the fingers of both O'Reilly and Gargano before Kross powerbombed him into both men. At one point, Gargano went for his end of DIY, but a parade of strikes from Cole, Gargano, Dunn, and O'Reilly led to a quadruple down. O'Reilly caught a Cole thrust kick and applied an ankle lock, but Cole kicked out of it. He then sent O'Reilly into Kross. Kross sent both O'Reilly and Cole over the barricade before a double hand powerbomb sent Gargano into the ring apron. He tossed Dunn onto the pile of the people outside. Then he was just crossing Gargano for a moment. Kross hit an F5 for a 2. Gargano made a brief comeback with the Tornado DDT, using Cole as an assist, basically bouncing himself off of Adam Cole to swing the DDT around before taking out O'Reilly with a Tope Suicida. He followed. Actually, I got to talk about this Tope really fast because he hits the Tope. O'Reilly was fine, but when he hits the Tope, I go, ooh. Because he hits the Tope, and O'Reilly's head, like O'Reilly, you would think is going to like crash into the barricade, maybe like shoulders or upper back. No, he crashed and went like down at an angle, and his head hit the table. Where was I? Gargano then followed this up with a spear on Kross and a diving DDT on Dunn, but was met with a super kick from Cole. Gargano avoided a last shot and locked on the Gargano escape, but Cole fought out and countered a slingshot spear with a thrust kick. Gargano countered the Panama Sunrise into a belly-to-belly for a 2. O'Reilly was taken out with stereo kicks from Gargano and Dunn. Then Cole and Gargano took out Dunn. Then O'Reilly and Gargano took out Cole as O'Reilly covered for a 2. Kross entered the ring and hit corner clotheslines on all four men. One man, boom, corner, boom, corner, boom, corner. Last one to get hit, Kyle O'Reilly. O'Reilly, though, briefly got up and everyone started attacking Kross. Kross, though, hit German suplexes on everyone. Dunn flipped out of one of them, allowing everyone to hit kicks on Kross's head. Cole and O'Reilly paused their rivalry, I guess you can say, and teamed up together to powerbomb Karrion Kross onto the announce table. I assume he was supposed to go through the announce table, but the table didn't break, and the way he landed, ouchie. He landed just hard, and like his back bent up. I don't know if he did that on purpose or what, but the way he took it was like, ooh, that's not how that's supposed to go, and that kind of hurt because he landed like right on, the little thing on the top with the logo, and it was at an angle, and if it would have broke, he would have went right through that. And anything. Anyways, table didn't break. Cross is laying there. The 4 other challengers faced off in the ring. Gargano and Dunn hit stereo super kicks. Then Dunn and O'Reilly both applied submissions. They dropped their victims and traded strikes at each other. O'Reilly dropped Dunn with a forearm. Dunn transitioned into a standing Kimura before a triangle hold, with Gargano taking them both down with a slingshot spear. A Ushigoroshi from Adam Cole on Kyle O'Reilly got him in 2. Cole and Dunn exchanged forearms in the middle of the ring. Dunn went for the corner backflip, and Cole and Gargano countered the super kicks. Gargano locked both Cole and Dunn in the Gargano escape, but O'Reilly broke it up. He and Gargano had a striking exchange, with O'Reilly finishing it with a brainbuster. He climbed to the top, but was sent to the floor by Adam Cole, who hit the Panama Sunrise on Johnny Gargano, but Dunn pulled him out of the ring and then killed him on the floor with the brainbuster. Cross would then pop up behind the announce desk, look at Dunn and go, "You want to fight?" Pete Dunne jumps into the ring, looks at Cross and goes, basically saying, "Let's go, big man." He invited him into the ring, gets in the ring, and Dunn unleashed on Cross, forcing him to cover up. But Cross ended up hitting a German suplex. This time he didn't flip out of it, though. Dunn, though, hit one of his own, followed by a bitter end. Yes, he hit the bitter end on Karrion Kross, but Kross kicked out of a great near fall here. Dunn immediately locked on a triangle, but the others broke up the hold. Dunn then dispatched his opponents with kicks before catching a low blow and going for the finger break spot. Kross broke it up with a double Doomsday Saito. He put on the Kross jacket, which it's the Kross jacket. So why isn't he grapevining the legs? Why isn't he wrapping the legs? He's got the head in the rear naked. For it to be a Kross jacket, he needs to wrap his whole body around the opponent. He needs to grapevine the legs every time. So he goes for the Kross jacket, but Dunn snapped Kross's fingers to break out of it. Gargano then hit one final beat on Dunn, but Kross locked on the Kross jacket on Gargano. Gargano tried for the jackknife pin, but it didn't work. Gargano got a 2 off of it, and Kross immediately maintained the hold. Cole then hit a last shot to Kross, but was subsequently chopped down by Kyle O'Reilly, who hit a diving knee on Kross. Cole broke up the cover with a super kick. O'Reilly then avoided a last shot and locked on a heel hook. After a long fight of Adam Cole almost tapping out, Kross locked on the Kross jacket on Kyle O'Reilly, who still had the hold on Cole. O'Reilly faded, and the ref called for the match after he let go of the heel hook. And I go, not a fan of the finish. In a multi-man match, I'm not the big fan of, well, that guy passed out, he loses, everybody loses. I mean, it's a finish. O'Reilly technically takes the loss. I mean, all 4 guys take a loss, but O'Reilly's the one that got beat. He didn't tap. He didn't get pinned, though. He passed out. And then they take forever to get to the final segment of the show. So you've got Scarlett and Karrion in the ring, and they're posing, and they're posing, and they're posing. We go to some replays. We get a couple more replays, and I go, why are they fucking killing for time right now? Either someone's running out to attack Karrion Kross, or they just don't know what they're doing. Come back from some replays. Karrion Kross and Scarlett are at the top of the ramp. They're posing some more. All of a sudden, we see Mackenzie Mitchell in the back following Regal outside. She goes, "Mr. Regal, I just want to get your thoughts on tonight's NXT TakeOver in your house." And he says, after seeing everything that went down tonight, I've never seen this much bedlam in NXT. I've been this general manager for 7 years. I think it's time for a change. And that can mean one of 2 things. Here are my 2 theories. Either the more logical of the theories, they're bringing in a new GM that they think can get order over NXT. Or Regal's going to go back to, I ain't taking nobody's shit, heel Regal. I don't know how that would work if he's not going to get physical. Maybe he gets physical. I don't know. But here's my question. If we're getting a new general manager in NXT, who should it be? Who should it be is the big question. I mean, why not? They want to bring back Samoa Joe. There you go. It all depends. Do they want Joe back as this authority figure, or do they want him back as a wrestler? I think Samoa Joe, because Samoa Joe's a hell of a talker. Samoa Joe, if he's cleared, won't take any shit and can, yeah, he'll be the authority figure, but he can be that authority figure that ain't afraid to get physical with like a Karrion Kross when Karrion Kross tries to say, I run this show, not you, I'm the champ. Da, da, da. Joe will be like, step to me one more time, Kross. This is my show. I make the rules. You wanna try and take over my show? I won't let that happen. I'll come at you or something. I don't know. I think Samoa Joe would be someone that could be a really good authority figure if that's a role that they would want for him, if they are planning on bringing him back like we have heard. I don't see anybody else with the way they are doing the whole, we may need a new GM. It's got to be somebody like a Joe. I mean, they can't bring somebody in like a Zelina Vega and try to let her be the GM, or a Selena De La Renta, who's rumored to be coming into WWE. It's got to be somebody like a Samoa Joe, who you know won't take crap from anybody and ain't afraid, even though he's an authority figure, to get a little physical if need be. He needs to put somebody in his place. Put somebody in his place. So I think somebody that could make a good GM for NXT could be Samoa Joe. Just saying. Chase Douglas says, maybe it should be Kurt Angle. Fuck that. We saw Kurt Angle as GM, and we saw how that played out. He fucking had less authority over Raw than Regal's had over NXT. But, I mean, we'll see where this all goes. We got NXT in 2 days on Tuesday. Chauncey Bullock with a nice one. Shawn Michaels, next NXT GM. I wouldn't be against that. But again, Shawn's somebody that I don't know if he'd get physical. I don't know if he can get physical. Last time we saw him get physical, it didn't look good. But with that, that was NXT TakeOver in your house. Let's check the polls before we get to the text messages. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that is 510-906-1341. Why do I not have polls? There we go. Here's the poll. 83% on Twitch thought the show was just all right. And 17% liked the show. Nobody on Twitch disliked it. Good to see. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 71% of you liked tonight's takeover. 21% of you thought it was just all right. And 8% of you did not like takeover. Alexis Cavallo says, Roderick Strong. I think she means for GM. I wouldn't do that. I don't think people would take Strong serious. No offense to Roderick Strong. I don't think you can take him serious as somebody that needs to take charge of this brand. As far as the text messages do go, right here we see somebody with a question. Do you see Samoa Joe returning to the NXT brand? It's very possible. This is a cracker main event. Just proved who the hell can beat Karrion now. Excited to see what's to come from the black and gold brand. I mean, another theory we could have is Joe is brought in as the general manager. Then Karrion Kross goes on like a 6, 8, 9 month run as the NXT champion, wrecking everybody, not respecting Samoa Joe, giving him shit, giving him crap, for finally Joe goes, you know what? I'm going to do something here. I'll make one last final call as the general manager. I am going to challenge you for the title. I am going to try and get order back in NXT from Karrion Kross. I don't know who's going to subside me as the next GM, but I'm going to challenge you for the title. That means I would have to relinquish as GM, and then Joe wins the title back. I don't know. Maybe Samoa Joe's the one that takes that title off Karrion Kross before he comes up to the main roster. Kross, that is. Like, Joe's the general manager for a while. We see for months him and Karrion Kross button heads. He's trying to get all these contenders that he thinks can beat Kross because Kross is trying to run NXT. And bada bing, bada boom, there you go. Person says, Karrion Kross says he doesn't plan on staying in NXT very long. Is that true? He did say something along those lines. I got the tweet right here. It was from the press conference yesterday. I could pull that up right here, show you guys what he said. Let's pull this up. It's also interesting that, so yesterday, we had the NXT press conference. And the NXT Twitter account was tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. The main WWE account was retweeting. But this tweet right here you see on your screen was the only thing that the actual WWE main Twitter account tweeted out in reference to this TakeOver press conference. It says, number 1, he doesn't plan on losing his NXT title. Number 2, he doesn't plan on staying in NXT forever. Number 3, find out tomorrow. Well, we didn't really find anything out tomorrow other than he's keeping that title for the time being. But it is interesting that this tweet was sent out by the main WWE account, where everything else about the press conference, they retweeted from the NXT account. I said, what's your thoughts on Dakota Kai being a heel? She's being a heel? She's doing great at it, her being a heel. I think she's doing fan-freaking-tastic as a heel. Next text message here does state, who was the one female dominant enough to abruptly end Raquel Gonzalez's title reign? I don't think it needs to come anytime soon. I say you build up Frankie Monet for about 4 months, maybe 5, and she can be the one that dethrones Raquel Gonzalez. I think it's got to be Frankie Monet. But she needs to get some big wins. She's got 1 win. She needs more. Versus John Cena for GM. That ain't ever going to fucking happen. Also, people saying Daniel Bryan for GM. Again, that ain't ever going to fucking happen. Daniel Bryan was only the SmackDown GM because he legally had to do something for the company to try and work off his contract. And so they made him the GM. That wasn't something he wanted to do. So I don't think he would come back to the company just to be a GM in NXT. No. Daniel Bryan will not come back as GM. Because Daniel Bryan has said in the past he didn't enjoy being the SmackDown general manager. But with that, guys, that was NXT TakeOver in your house. I thought the show was average at best. One of the worst takeovers I've watched as far as a full show does go. Like, overall, there's been so many better takeovers. This might have been one of the worst. I'm just going to say it right now. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to follow us on social media. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. We'll be live back right here on Twitch and YouTube tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. So have a great night, guys, and I'll see you next time. All right. If you're still watching